absolute because it opens the veins carrying the refuse away and the arteries build it up again and your cough stops. Headache, that is very little bother to you people that have it 2 or 3 times a day. But why, an osteopath can tell you what headache is. Dr. Dungleson, will you please explain to the people what headache is? Headache is a peculiar condition, either with cold or hot temperature of the head, with an increased or diminished flow of blood. I would suggest a copious vomit. Here is your definition of headache by Dungleson. And how much wiser are you for it? Go to an osteopath. What makes the brain hurt? He will answer you. What makes a pig squeal, a calf bawl, a child cry when it is hungry? You have a cold condition of the head. The cerebral arteries are not supplying the brain with nutrient. Therefore it gets very hungry, miserably hungry too. When the veins assisted by the motor nerves or those that can convey blood to its circulation became obstructed, pain follows, which is the effect. Headache. Dr. Sullivan, you have been a plumber for many years. Suppose you would find at some point the water was not conducted to the next washbowl. You would say there was a break or dent in the pipe, wouldn't you? How would you like it if I were to call you up and say, Sullivan, what is the matter with the pipe? It don't let the water pass through. I can't get any water out of it. Would you say, while you stood with the dignity of a doctor, there is something peculiarly wrong. It is probably organic disease of the heart. However, I think that an injection of morphine possibly would be some benefit. That is about the sense you are answered with when you pay your money to a doctor for advice. The finer the plumber, the better he is prepared to judge of his business. So it is with an osteopath. Let me ask you another question, Dr. Sullivan. Is not osteopathy a system parallel, yet high above, but on the same principle as the plumber's work? Yes, sir. Nature's God, in constricting that house, proved himself to be the finest plumber known by any person or philosopher. What do you think of it? Are the wires all in place and ready to do their duty? I know what your answer will be. You will say, if you will look, you will find every nerve there. You will find nerves, veins, and arteries between each and every rib, between each bone of the back. You will find that every bone in the human body has a bump to hold up some muscle. You will find every muscle provided with veins, arteries, and nerves. You will find their cause for a man to reason that when they are in normal position, a normal God has declared it is in proper condition for health. I have been called a crank. Who cares for such names as that? I have been called an ungodly fellow. Who cares for that? I give you 2 names where you give me 1. I am a long-tongued Scotchman, born with an Irishman's mouth, and I think I have something of an average eye for observation. I have observed for 30 years the workings of a long protected system of stupendous, unpardonable ignorance, criminal ignorance called allopathy, homeopathy, electricism, eclecticism, all of them using drugs without exception. Why are they criminal? When I was absent from home, one of my children was attacked with fever. An allopath came in with medicine. He believed in tonics, sedatives, and many other things. What does the eclectic do? He believes in his purgatives, his sweats, his pukes, and his burns. He believes in his hypodermic syringe. He uses it, and so does the homeopath. The allopath comes in and says, I believe in both of them, only a little more heroically. Being the highest of the trinity of experimenters, I want to tell you that I mean all of that with no qualifications. I mean it unreservedly. When I came back, my 12-year-old boy was taking quinine and whiskey. I asked, What have you in your hand? Oh, a little quinine. What is in that bottle? A little whiskey. I am going to make a little quinine whiskey. How long does it take a boy to learn that whiskey tastes better without the quinine? Who started the shower of water from the mother's eyes? That criminal who prescribed that first drink. I call it criminal in any man. You can get drunk and call it holy if you want to. Here comes up Colic. A young man goes to see his girl. He is too lazy to make the fire for his mother to fill him up once a week, and he goes out, and his Polly fills him with the pie and cake. He comes home with colic, goes to the pill doctor, and he pops a syringe into the region of the solar gastric nerve. Should I have said pneumogastric? That makes him easy. He fills up with crab apples next time, and he needs another hypodermic. The first thing you know, he uses his own syringe. You see them out in San Francisco and all over America. Come along, Tom. Let's go and punch our arms. They are not going to be worked in that way anymore and pay for it. Those hypodermic syringes are almost as common as grasshoppers when you go east or west. What are we tending to? I saw some dogs 50 years ago, and I never forgot them. They were above a milldam. The water was running very fast, and their tails kept going down, down, down. A man said, "Look at those damned dogs." Well, I thought, if they were not damned, they soon would be, and if it was but a second until they were over the dam and were dead dogs. That shows if they try to swim across the current so close to the dam, something happens to the dogs, something happens to your boy, something happens to your husband. An allopath walks out single-handed and alone, and what does he place his confidence in? First, on his confidence in the intelligence and immutability of God himself, that the strokes of the smoothing planes of God, the steam boilers constructed by the divine being and placed in man here, were unobstructed, act in harmony. Where is harmony but health? It takes perfect harmony of every nerve, vein, and artery in all parts of the body. Every muscle that moves has something to make it go. Instance, what is it that constructs the heart, that pushes the blood to all parts of the body? Why, an osteopath will tell you, is the work of coronary arteries, in which he must know before he treats your heart. When I look upon the work of nature, it doesn't work for $1.50 a day. It works for results only. God's pay for labor and time is truth, and truth only. If it takes him 1,000,000 years to make a stone as large as a bean, the time and labor are freely given and the work honestly done. No persuasion whatever will cause that mechanic to swerve from the line of exactness in any case. Therefore I can trust the principles that I believe are found in the human body. I found what is necessary for the health, comfort, and happiness of man, the passions, and all else. Nothing is needed but plain, ordinary nourishment. We find all the machinery, qualities, and principles that the divine mind intended should be in man. Therefore, let me work with that body from the brain to the foot. It is all finished work and is trustworthy in all its parts.